the ranking member, Lofgren, for 5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Administrator Regan, I want to ask you a question first about the subject I referenced in my opening statement, and it's something I've been dealing with for quite some time. Leaded fuels are the primary fuel for piston engine aircraft. I mean, jets don't use, commercial airlines don't use leaded fuel. It's just the piston engine small aircraft, which comprise really the bulk of the general aviation sector. Now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has concluded, based on scientific studies, that there is no known safe level of lead in the blood. What this means is that residents near general aviation airports live with lead exposure in the air and ground every day. Now, as I mentioned, there is a small airport in the district I represent, Reed Hillview Airport. The county of Santa Clara commissioned a scientific study and found that the blood levels of children in the neighborhood surrounding the airport had lead levels that were rivaling that in Flint, Michigan. And so it's very important that we get the lead out of this last part of transportation and protect the children of this country. Congress instructed the FAA to come up with an alternative to leaded avgas, but they haven't been able to get the job done. More recently, various groups have petitioned the EPA to finalize their endangerment finding related to leaded avgas. Now, I'm hopeful that the finding will force the FAA and industry to come up with a plan to stop poisoning children with leaded fuels. Can you provide us with an update as to where this effort stands?
Well, Congresswoman, first of all, I would agree with you that there is absolutely no acceptable level of lead for any of us, but especially our children. So EPA has been very active in this area, working very hard, following the science, following the process for a lead endangerment finding in this area. We're making significant progress, and we believe that we'll have that endangerment finding wrapped up, I believe, this fall. So that process is moving along in a very scientific and orderly way.
So we're in the fall. We could expect this quite soon?
Yes, yes. It will be done this fall, maybe late fall, but this fall. And I don't want to prejudge or predetermine the outcome, but what I want to tell you is we've been very methodical and disciplined on making this determination.
Thank you very much. I just want to touch on another matter. As you know, I'm sure, as everyone in America knows, the House majority has us on the brink of going into what I think is a very irresponsible government shutdown. I don't think that Speaker McCarthy seems to have a plan to keep the government open, and I think that's going to cause real harm to the country and real harm to our constituents. I'm really concerned about the efforts and effects of a shutdown on the EPA. Could you describe the effects of a shutdown on the EPA's work?
Well, I'm gravely concerned as well. You know, I think the EPA has a mission to protect public health and the environment. And while we do have some good systems in place, there is a trust but verify method to that. All of our inspections of our hazardous waste facilities, our Superfund facilities, those inspections will be suspended. The inspections of our water quality, our drinking water, those inspections will be suspended. I think you all were very thoughtful in some congressionally directed projects that will help your districts. That work will be suspended. You know, the emergency personnel and those essential personnel will be there to handle emergencies, but a lot of essential work will begin to slow down. By the way, when we think about pesticides and herbicides and our toxic reviews to get new chemicals in the market so that our farmers are not guessing, that work slows down. So I have grave concerns about a potential shutdown.
Thank you, Administrator, for your testimony, for answering my questions, for being here today, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you.